Hello, everyone. This is Chase, and I am coming to you all to do a training on goal setting. And so I have all my notes and everything is ready. I'm on the call as well. So if you're on the call, just say something so I'll know that you're on the call. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and jump in. It's 2 o'clock now, so I want to go ahead and get this information out because it might take about an hour for all the information. So we're going to get started. The name of this um, study or group or seminar is five effective ways to set goals. And so I've done a lot of research on setting goals. Um, and I did that a little bit about how I got to this point. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, I'm Chase. I am a life coach, and I am deeply into personal development. Like, I believe that we have to develop ourselves, and the best way to do that is to set goals for ourselves. So I'm gonna give you some facts and some information real fast about goal setting and just how important it really is for us to set goals. Okay, so most people start off the new year like we just had, with resolutions or goals that they want to accomplish the whole year. Well, there's some very not so good information about the longevity of a goal. Most people fall off right around this time. It's going to be February in a few days, and by it's crazy statistics, but this is what it says. By January 7th, you will have about 50% failure rate for whatever you set on January 1st. So that's really not a good statistic, and 50% um, success. So that's not really good. But then by February, which we're about to enter into February, it is a 60% failure rate. People completely gave up on their goals, because we set goals for a lot of different reasons. We set goals for things that we want to be, what we want to do, and what we want to have. So this is the first one here. So we're going to kind of dig into setting the goals. But let me just give you a little bit more statistics on goal setting. So by December 1st, there is only a 5% success rate. That means that there's no goal for most people. People have already given up. They're not interested in their goals anymore, and if they are interested, they fall off somehow. So, not really good statistics, but I'm hoping that with this training, that although it's still early in the year, that you can still reach your goal, achieve your goals. Okay. So, one of the major reasons why people fall off, because we need to know this, right? Is because they get discouraged and they have distractions. So, yeah, most people just get distracted, and it's, not that it's no longer important for them to accomplish their goals, but it's just not, really what they're wanting to do at that time. And this happens over and over and over again, unfortunately, year in and year out. So let's just say this, is that when you set a goal, it has to be emotional. And I say that because a lot of the goals that we make for ourselves is something that we want to accomplish. I mean, it's something that we really, really want. And so we have to be emotionally attached to what it is that we that your feelings, your feelings have a lot to do with if you accomplish your goals. And so we have to see ourselves getting there. We have to be emotionally committed to the goal. And if you're not emotionally committed to the goal, then you will experience distractions and discouragement and then you'll just abandon the whole idea of the goal. It could be from weight loss to anything else, because people make goals on a lot of different things. And typically, what I just said, it's what you want to be, what you want to do, or what you want to have is what we particularly set goals for. So right about now is the time that you should really have your paper and pen out, because I am about to go through this whole fascinating to me goal setting steps. Okay, so you saw my first paper, and it said set the goal. So we have to know what our why is. Why do we want what we want? And the why could be anything. If it's let's just go with losing weight, because that is a major goal for most people. They want to lose weight, and they establish that goal in the beginning of the year, normally on New Year's, and they get the membership and they do all the other stuff that it takes, but they're not totally committed to it. So your why has to be very personal. It has to be like you have to be emotionally tied to your why in order for you to do it. So how big is your why? I mean, you have to look at it like, is it health reasons, or do I just want to look cute in this dress or in these pants, or whatever the idea is for you, because everyone's uh, goal or their why is different. So, but we have to look inside ourselves to find out what that why is, and if it's big enough to sustain you to get to your goal or to achieve it. Okay, so let's jump right in. So the next thing that I have, if you can see that, is the MMGs, and I'll read the, the paper here. First of all, MMGs are your micro mini goals, because when you set a goal, and if it's really, really big, you're going to want to break that goal down. I mean, that's like the first thing that you want to do when you're looking at that goal. So this will be the second thing. So the first one was set the goal. And a good way to set a goal is to write out pretty much what you want, and what you want or have, be, and do. So write all of that out. It is very important to write it out in print also. And so the MMGs will give you a way to work towards and gather information. Because when you set out to accomplish a goal, depending on what it is, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to gather the information to know where to start. It's just like we're going to stay with the losing weight part. So you're going to have to look at, nutrition. You're going to have to investigate a gym. You're going to have to, there's so many things that you can do when it comes to gathering information about your goal. So if your goal is to lose weight within this year, then you would want to gather your information. You would want to be able to break that information down and apply it to your goals. So here we have this big goal, right? And then you're going to have little break-off goals to get to the big goal. And so that's pretty much how and this is one of the things that I talk to my clients with as I'm, life coaching. So we all have to break down stuff to make it easier, okay? And so let me just give you just a little bit more information about how the goal situation works, if that sounds right. But it's basically in our brains. Okay, so we have in our head, we have this big, beautiful brain of ours, right? It's wonderful. It's the best thing ever. And if you don't think so, I don't know what to say about you. I really don't. So in our head, and it has a lot to do with if we accomplish the goal. First of all, I said you have to be emotionally attached to your goal. You have to know your why, really you do. And so, and then you have to think about your mindset. Okay, so we know that the left brain is the fundamentals, the learning, that part is the left side of your brain, so my left is over here. But so that is in control of fundamental stuff. So things that you would have to do step by step by step by step is where that part of the brain will work for setting goals. And then the right side of your brain is your creative side. That's the part of your brain that thinks of creative ways to follow your dream or make your goals and follow your goals. And so, but they work together, obviously, because you have to, when you're gathering the information, that's your left side of your brain that's working. And when you think of outside the box and you're like really creative in what it is that you want, then that's your right side of your brain. Okay, so first of all, it requires us to write down our goals. Okay, so we're going to write down our goals. We're going to print them because it takes more concentration to print, and it imprints on our subconscious once we do that. And you're going to write so much. I'm going to explain this process uh, very clearly, as clear as I can. And so you're going to want to write down all of your goals. One of the things that I will say though, if you have several goals, like you're like, okay, I got 5 things that I want to work on this year. You're gonna have to really work those things out and have them time appropriate, because it's very hard for us to concentrate on a lot of different things, which is multitasking. We don't do that very well, even though some people may say that they are really good at multitasking. Our brains don't like multitask. We like to focus on one thing and get that done. And so if you have several goals, I would say definitely start off with the one that you really, really want to accomplish and give yourself some time to do it. And so here's my third thing that I want to go over with as it applies to goals. It's the SMART system. Okay, so what the SMART system is, and it's being specific. So this is what the S stands for. It's being specific in your goal. So when you write it out, you need to, be very detailed and very specific in what it is that you want. Okay, because if you kind of half do that part, you're gonna lose your why in there somewhere, because our emotions, like I said, is attached to our goals, and we have a better success rate. Okay, so then you want to measure your goal. What's the meaning? What is the meaning of your goal? Like, what does it mean to you to achieve this goal? So, you have to measure it. How big is it for you? If it's losing weight because the doctor said you're overweight and you really do need to lose this weight to be healthy, then that's a big measure. That's like meaningful, because you would need to actually lose this weight for health benefits, and everything. So, and then the A is action. So we're going to develop a plan. Once you break down your goals and you look at it and you're like, yeah, I can do this. This is what I can do. You have to think about the actions that you would have to take to actually have your goal met, to basically attain it. Because if you don't really know how you're going to structure your plan, which is not always easy, because it has to be a direct contact with all the other parts, like your specific, your why, and how big is it or important is it. And so with the action plan, you would have to have something that's workable. Something that you can do. And this is when I said micro mini goals, this is when you branch those things off and you make very small goals so you can achieve them and reaching all the way up to the top of your goal. Okay, so then it's relevant. So, or your reward. I am a big believer in, I condone reward when we're on our path and we're working towards a goal and or a dream, or anything that you're doing. So I'm a big believer in rewarding yourself. If you are losing weight, yes, food probably wouldn't be the best way to reward yourself. But if I've known people that actually do one cheat day, or something like that, so they get to reward themselves for going strong the whole week of eating right, and then one day they are, they're able to eat what they want to eat. But I've also heard a lot of people say that eventually over time, they don't even care about the cheat day anymore, because they're so focused on, they're seeing the results of their exercise and their nutrition. All of these things have changed. So they're like, I don't really need to have my cheat day anymore. So anyway, but I do think that you should reward yourself. Buy that dress that you want to wear, or those pants that you want, or, an outfit or something, because it, hang it up so you can see it, so you'll know that you're going to reach this goal. So you have to really be visual with your goal as well. And then the one of the T for in the SMART, because I'm going to actually link the worksheet where it spells out the SMART system, and then it asks you a couple of questions about your goals. I'm going to link that in the description bar so you can download it, okay? And so the last thing on the SMART is time. So I always like to say, because I just, come up with my own things to do and how to really help people. I like to call it a desire with a date. And and that's what the time, it has to be trackable. Like, so if you say I want to give myself 3 months to lose 20 pounds, then that is a great start, because you can set it from this date to this date, and then work within those compounds. Um, and this is why I said, if you have multiple goals, so if you know that you're going to be working on your weight and you're really trying to get that down, because it takes about a month, 30 days to change a habit. And so you're going to need the first month really to just change your habits. And then the second one will be progression. And then, of course, the third will be more progression. So my point in saying that is that if you have 5 goals for the year. Work on one at a time and give them time, and then as you are firm and consistent in one, then you can add another, because it won't mess you up, because you've already been in it for, a number of days, 60 days or so. So that's a good way to look at it. So you don't become overwhelmed, because when you're overwhelmed, then you lose, you get discouraged, and then you want to give up. And so our goal is not for you to give up at all. We want you to stay in the game and get your goal, achieve it, because that's what this is all about. Okay, so that was the third thing, so we're keeping track. We have 5, and I'm going to give you a lot of information. That's why I hope that you all have your pens ready, because there's a lot of stuff that has to go into these goals and achieving them, of course. All right, so the next thing is priorities. Let me see if I can get that to set priorities. So I'll read what's on here. Okay, so we said about being specific. Be precise with your times and your dates, your why and your what. Okay, so you really have to sit down and make this a top priority, because if you don't make your goal a top priority, you will give up, or you'll let it just fall to the wayside, and you won't accomplish what you really, really want to do. And so that is why I'm a firm believer in writing down your goals, okay? And another thing is, dream big. Like, one of the things that I have learned in my studies of goal setting is that most times people set goals that they know that they can achieve, which is good. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but you should make your goal really big, because it gives you something to strive for. Your brain will love it. If your brain detects it as something that, then it's not going to work at it to get you to that point. Your mindset will not change. So you really should make your goal really big. And that's why we have the micro mini goals to attach to the big goal, so that way you can accomplish step by step where you're going with it. Okay? Okay, so, and then in this being, or setting priorities of your goals, one of the things that you really do need to look at, guys, because it's very, very important that you know your skill level. So if I know that I'm trying to lose 20 pounds, now I know that I have not worked out in years. Okay, let's just say that, right? And so I can't just jump out there and just do everything in one day. So I have to recognize my level. Where am I at on this? So that is really what you have to be cognizant of. And so that's why I said in the very beginning that you really do have to gather your information. You have to gather all of this stuff that's important to your goal. Now, if you get to a point and you have, you're like, man, my skill level is kind of down, or I'm not that motivated, or, and because you, okay? And so you may need to solicit some help, from a coach. You know, um, I'm a firm believer in coaching. I am a coach, so of course I'm a firm believer in coaching. But what coaching does is give you confidence. And I'm going to do another, I guess, webinar or training on confidence building things, because before goal setting, you have to build your confidence, or you have to build your confidence within your goal setting, because the more you accomplish or achieve, then it raises your confidence level. And so you may need help, and I suggest that you get help. So if you're trying to lose weight, get a personal trainer and tell them everything that you need, and that you need for them to do to encourage you, to push you to where you need to be. Because there is definitely a lot of coaches out here that are excellent and wonderful. To me, a coach is no different than what you see on the basketball games or the football games, where they have coaches that's pushing them and showing them new ways and different perspectives and how to achieve um, basically the point or the goal. So I think that if you need help, you really should recognize that within yourself, and don't think that you're weak because you need help, because that's not true. I think the most powerful people are the ones that can ask for what it is that they want. And so it goes down to. Okay, so we have um, this is step number 5. I still have a lot of information to cover. It's just, I'm going to try to get the steps out. And we talked a little bit about this already. And it is your plan, your action plan. Ah, this is going to set the stage for actually doing what it is that you want, or having what you want, that be, do, and have. The action plan is what's really going to push you to that level. And you really should start off small, in the sense of, don't overwhelm yourself with something that you may fall off on. And so one of the things that we have to recognize when we're developing a plan for ourselves is the obstacles and the resistance, because it's going to come. Resistance will come as soon as you make up in your mind. It's crazy how our brains work. I'm going to talk more about that. I actually have a video up here on YouTube that's talking about how the brain will basically, it likes the comfort zone. So if you are comfortable with doing what you're doing every day, and you haven't stepped outside of your box to achieve any goals or dream big, or write that book or whatever it is that you're trying to do, then your brain is going to be content with leaving you right where you are. But you have to push yourself to these levels. And like I said, always a great idea to have a coach to help you with this part. Okay, so like I said, resistance will come as soon as obstacles, the trials. Is going to be a lot of things thrown at you right when you get serious. I don't know what this is. I think it's to see if you really want it. And I mean, we have to acknowledge if we really want something. So you're setting the goal. So know that you really want this goal. What is your why? We always got to go back to our why and figure out what it is that we really want. Okay? And so then we talked about rewards. I'm a firm believer in rewards. You always, and there's nothing wrong with scheduling your reward. So if you know that you were supposed to lose 2 pounds in this week, right? There's nothing wrong with rewarding yourself with something else, that you have going on, like a treat or something. So I'm a firm believer in rewards, because it pushes you to want to do more. Um, Okay, so then in this plan, you have to monitor something, your self-talk. It's that thing in your head that says, no, I can't do it. Or no, I'm tired. I don't feel like getting up. It's too cold outside. It's too hot. It's this. I don't feel good. I don't want this. I don't, that conversation, right? That we have in our head that no one else really knows. It's just you telling yourself, or you'll say, I can't do it. And if you're talking to yourself that way, if you're not affirming that you're going to do these things, you will talk yourself out of the things that you want, and you will talk yourself out of that goal. And so self-talk is very, very important. Yet again, I have a video up here on YouTube right now that talks about self-talk and just how important it is to monitor that and to really tell it to be quiet. Like, look, brain, look, self-talk. I'm gonna need you to be quiet because I'm trying to accomplish something right now. You really have to talk to yourself in certain ways, to build that confidence within yourself to go that extra mile, because that's really what. Okay, so the next thing in our plan is personal development. It's like my favorite. I know that this is something that I am supposed to be doing. Personal development is very big to me. It is very high on the list of everything that we do. If we do not develop ourselves to go that extra mile, to plan for that future, to know what our life's purpose is, and we don't um, do personal development on ourselves, we will never get to where we want to go. And funny because last night I was up and I was looking at things that I wanted to share with you guys, and I came across the 10,000 hour rule. I forget his name, but if you're not willing to put 10,000 hours into whatever it is that you want to do, then you probably won't do it. I set goals for myself at the beginning of the year, and throughout the year, actually. There's, goals that I have been maintaining and really working on. And so, and I believe in being master of whatever it is that you're trying to do for yourself. So that means that you really have to pay attention and build your skill levels up to where you want to be. Okay. So personal development is very, very important. It's it's the leadership, it's the communication, it's a lot of different things that we need to do when we are, following our dreams or going after a goal that we want. Okay, and so most of the time when we have a goal, it's in a couple of areas. I know I said the have, be, and do, but we all have like career goals, financial goals, education goals, family goals, attitude, physical, public servant service, artistic. I mean, we have goals that could be everywhere, but we do have to narrow them down, like I said, because you do not want to become overwhelmed with the goals. Okay. All right, and so the last thing that's on this card, but it's not the end of, because I have actually a program that I want you to follow that I researched and found that it's a really great, um, it's really good to follow this particular goal setting program. All right, so the last one is be in control and achieve it. Okay, so when I say be in control, that means really be in control of your goal. So if you don't have the motivation, get the motivation. Listen to, I like Les Brown. That's my favorite. But on YouTube, they have so many motivational speeches that will get you pumped up and ready to go out there. Because sometimes we do become complacent where we are, especially if we've been doing it for a while or if it's taken a long time for us to get it accomplished. We do need to add that motivation back in. And I've said this and I'm going to continue to say this, that a coach is that person. A coach will help you develop yourself and give you that encouragement and that inspiration to keep going. Okay. And so at the end of that plan, you should be achieving what we want. You know what I'm saying? You should really be at a point where if this is a long term or short term goal. You know what you have to do daily, to accomplish this. If it's writing a book, then you may have to write every day, just to keep yourself in line. I mean, and these are things that you really can't afford to not do. Okay, so, and I said you have to gather information. Research is important for any goal that you want to do. I mean, it's important to know the information, to keep going. And in that keep going, you keep the progress. You keep reviewing. You keep going back and making sure, not making sure of the goal because that's your why. You have to know what your why is, okay? But nevertheless, and a lot of the things that you're going to have to do is repeat and have a regular schedule. You know what I'm saying? We do have to keep that in mind that a regular schedule is very important when, following your dream or setting your goals. Okay, so let's jump right into actually how you're going to do this. And I'm hoping that I don't go too fast and that you can get everything that I'm going to say. Okay, so for goal setting 2015, this is the things that you really need to do and pay attention to when you're working on your goal. See, now it's about to be February, so you only have 11 months to accomplish your goal if it's a year goal. You may have, 3 year goals, or, but then you would need to really block off that time to make sure that you're following everything that you need to do within those confounds of that actual time span. So here's what the first thing that you need to do. You need to write down all of your goals. So that's number one. Write down all of your goals. Print it because it like imprints on the subconscious, which is in your mind. So and it takes more concentration to write and print. So you need to write down all of your goals. Okay, that's the first thing. Go crazy, dream big. I mean, think about everything. Just put it all out there, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, and then the second thing what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick the top 10 things that you want to do within that, all of what you wrote. It could be, you might have wrote 50 things, okay? But pick the top 10, whatever your list, the number of them is, okay? So pick the top 10 and look at them. And then go back and put, whether it's going to take you a month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 12 months. So right off to the side of it, you would have to put the time that you want to achieve your goal. Remember, the desires with a date is what I like to call it. Okay. Once you do that, once you set the deadline, the next thing that you would need to do is make a statement next to it of your why you want this particular goal for this time. So if you wanted to write a book, you wanted that book to be out in say 5 months, and because you've done your research, you've gathered your information, you know where your skill set is, all of these things. Maybe you're taking a class, a writing class, maybe you're, doing some things over here, but you know that my why is really big on why I want this book. It is, inspirational book, children's book, you know, fiction, nonfiction. I mean, whatever your style is. But what is the why? What is the driving force for that particular goal that you have set? That you want to look at a little closer to being, established or achieved. So in those 10 goals, write down a why. If it takes you too long to write your why, mark it off the list. Okay? If it takes too long, if you have to sit there and think, oh, I don't really know why I want, then mark it off the list, because it's not going to do you any good, because it's not something that's burning desire within you to accomplish. Okay? Maybe we'll go back to it, because you're not going to ever get rid of your big list, because this is how we can set up for the next goals that you want to achieve. All right? So, what was that? I think that was number 3. So number 4, I think this is, number 4. On a separate sheet of paper, the ones that you were able to write out that quick why and why you want it, put those goals on a separate sheet of paper. And remember to print, because you want to make sure that it's going into your subconscious, okay? Okay, so you're going to ask yourself a few questions in this period. You're going to ask the question of, how would it make you feel to achieve that particular goal? So right next to it, once you got the goal, your why, your date, how will it feel to achieve it? Really be very descriptive. Look at it and make it so real. I mean, describe everything. What would that look like in your world to have lost these 20 pounds, or to have written this book, or to stop smoking, or to whatever your goal is? You know what I'm saying? What does it look like? What does it feel like to you? Okay? And you have to really make that positive. I mean, really make it super great. Okay? And then up under it, what if you didn't make the goal in the time that you picked, and all of those things? How would you feel? And really, at this point here, you should really be um, making this, really think of the negatives. I mean, I know typically, don't want to stay in a negative disposition, but when you're setting your goals, if you know how you're going to feel, if it's going to disappoint you, then you should be willing to, actually write that down. What would it mean to you to not have your goal met? Okay. All right. So, and we're still in number 3, I think, or 4. I don't remember. But you know, what are some of the opportunities if you made your goal that you would have? Like, if you wrote a book in 5 months, and now I have an opportunity to talk to people about my book. I get an opportunity to print my book. I get an opportunity to sell my book. I get an opportunity to just broaden someone else's life by my experience of writing this book. So, what are some of the opportunities that you would have? Okay. All right. So that's for each goal that you was able to write that quick why for. You're gonna ask those questions. Okay. All right. So then the next thing that you would do is, in that same line, you have to write the steps that you can take today to get started on that goal. Okay. What can you do today to get started on that goal? That is like, you know, what can you do right now? If it's if you're, go back to the weight thing. If you're trying to lose 20 pounds, if you got, donuts and all the food that's in there that that's not going to add to you um, accomplishing that goal, get rid of it, give it away, do something. So you have to know. You have to go ahead and take those steps immediately, but you need to break it down and know what it is that you need to do to start that goal. Okay. Okay. So I think that that's all. And then at the very end, what you want to do, I'm a big believer in vision boards and mind movies. I have a couple videos up about it. So one of the things is to really, you can use your computer, or write that list down of all the things that you want to accomplish in that year, or however long that you set it up for. Um, make it real, make it attractive. Print out a lot of copies and put them places in your house, or in your car, or your job, or in your wallet, or somewhere visible that you can concentrate on your goals. Okay. And one of the things you can do is make a vision board uh, about your goals that you want to achieve, or make a mind movie. I have a video up here about mind movies if you don't know what that term is. And so the more that you are around your goals, the more that you keep it in front of you, the more likely that you will achieve it, because our brains love the challenge. Okay, so you don't want to give up. At no point do you want to give up. If you start to feel like it's overwhelming, take a step back and reevaluate your goal. Make sure that it's emotionally tied to you. Because if you don't, then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? That's what's going to happen. Okay? And so that is just like a formula that I've been doing a lot of research, and I've pulled from different people to see what they do and how they look at goal setting. And so I wrote down. I mean, I'm always constantly writing down and researching how to do it the best way. And I'm hoping that I gave you a lot of information that will help you achieve your goals. Okay. There's a couple other things that I do want to talk to you guys about, and I was looking it up actually last night because you want a couple of things. When you start really looking at your goals, uh, you're gonna come across a lot of different things. You just will. You're gonna be discouraged some days. You're gonna be like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? You're gonna go through some things, especially because life never stops, and it will throw you curveballs, and you have to be able to duck and dodge them. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to move alongside the experiences that you may go through while you're following your dreams or setting your goals. So I came across this article where and because I wanted to know how to be the best. This is just like a little um, extra here, because we're pretty much done with the goals. If you follow those steps, you should have your goal accomplished or achieved. There shouldn't be a reason why. Um, and as I said, hiring a coach is not a bad idea, especially if you lack the momentum to get started. Okay, and they will help you get started. Okay, so because we have to build confidence in all that we do. If we don't build the confidence in yourself, then you probably won't succeed because you have to dig deep within yourself, and the follow through has to be on point. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, well, I think I'm gonna do that. Or this is why your why has to be very big, and your why has to be very emotionally driven because that's the only way. And you have to feel good about this process. Like you really have to just be like over the top. Like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And you have to talk about it. And you got to be bold in what it is that you want. You can't just go through it and be like, well, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Or, if you're back and forth, if you haven't completely committed, or is committed to your goals, then you're not going to follow it. Okay? So, one of the things that we have to do is know yourself, know who you are, know what your limits are, know you, really. If you don't know you, then it's going to be really hard to set goals and chase your dreams. It's just you have to know what you want. You have to be, as Napoleon Hill says, what is it? I just lost what I was going to say. I'm so sorry. Definiteness of purpose is what he says, and you have to be definite in your purpose. You really do have to know what it is that you want. You have to know you. Okay? And you can't follow behind other people and how they're doing it. I mean, it's always good to get ideas, but you need to be you. Okay, so if you're not, a person that's like really, then I wouldn't do that. Be you, because people will be attracted to that and help you along your way, in life. Period. So sometimes I think I might be a little goofy sometimes, but I'm me. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't change that about myself. So I just roll with it, you know. And then, I know a lot of people tell folks, to think positive. And you should. You really should stop looking at things in a negative way. Because the more positive you are, the more that you can build up yourself, the more you'll be like, man, I can really do this. Because there's nothing that says that you can't. Really, it isn't. There's no such word as can't. I can't. No, you can. You really can. You can do anything you want. You know, really you can. But it's just how much invested are you? So you have to think positive. You have to be excited. Be excited about what it is that you want to do. If you're setting goals and you don't have excitement for them, you're not gonna follow through. You know. So, I mean, I'm just giving you the real. If you're not excited and super like, yes, I can do this, I can do this, I can do that, I'm gonna achieve this, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna do. If you don't have any excitement, you're not gonna follow through. And you really do need to be open, to ideas. You know, everyone has a perspective in how they see the world and what they're willing to do and not do. But you have to be open to hear and to read and to research and to do the things that you need to do to get to where you want to be. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can just take lightly and close up everything and don't be, willing to hear or go through this or read that book or, all of the things that it takes to develop yourself. You have to do it. And there's nothing wrong with being a little competitive, we all have to compete, kind of. I mean, you don't change you don't do all that. And I'm not saying you have to measure yourself by someone else's goal, but I'm saying if there's that little spark of competitiveness, then you'll go the extra mile. If you want to make it to the top, if you want to be the best at whatever it is that you want to do, then you need to be comfortable enough to be a little bit competitive with it. So, I said you have to be excited. You have to really want what it is that you are doing. So if you really want to lose those 20 pounds or those 30 pounds or those 50 pounds, or if you really want to write that book, if you really want to have this job or go after this particular thing, then you have to want it. You have to want it. You have to love it. You have to put it on a different level. You can't just keep it, you know, in just one place. You gotta, explore and challenge yourself like over and over and over again to get what you want. And I've been saying this the whole time. If you need a coach, if you need someone or mentor, someone that is doing what you are doing. So the thing is to always link up with people that are on that either above you, as in they've already accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, or just keep that close knit um, family way. Like as in if we develop or start a group for people that are trying to lose weight, then you need to connect with them because it's networking and it builds your confidence even more when it's not just one of you. It's like five of you, and we all kind of want the same thing, so we can kind of brainstorm and get this thing rolling. It is a wonderful thing to do that. And you have to come out of your comfort zone. I mean, to follow any goal or to set a goal, you have to be willing to come out of your comfort zone because there's going to be some things that you're not going to be able to just say, well, I can't do that or I'm not doing that. And not if you want it. Not if you really want your goal. You're going to have to come out of your comfort zone and decide that this is what it is. This is what I want to do. You have to decide that within yourself. You can't just be like, well, because I've said this, you have to be specific, precise, in what it is that you want. And you have to be able to brainstorm and come up with ideas and do the things that you need to do to have what it is that you want. You have to be emotionally tied to it. It has to be a balance, back and forth. What is it that you want to do? This or do you want to do that? And you have to maintain that the whole time that you're following your dream or setting these goals that you want to achieve. I mean, all of this that I'm saying is something that you may know, you may not know. But I'm going to take the last few minutes of this training to just say this is something that I enjoy. I like showing people that they can do it. I like to challenge people, and say, yes, you can do this. If you really want to do this, you can do it. That's why I'm a coach, guys. That's why I do it, because I want to encourage the person that is kind of, I don't know, I want to be that person and say, you can do this. Stop doubting yourself. You can do this. So that is the reason why I will come back and do many more of these, and talk to you guys about just being the best version of yourself, being, go after that thing that, maybe that you thought for years that you didn't deserve. Go do it, be it, have it. That's really what life is about. It's not to stay in your comfort zone or in your little, um, little cocoon and just, no, it's for you to branch out and fly like a butterfly all around and spread your wings and get out there and meet people, do things, step out of your comfort zone. This is everything that I talk about and everything that I'm passionate about, especially being a life coach and an author and a speaker. I want to see that look in your eye that's like, I can do this. That is like the best feeling ever for me, is to look at someone that had doubted themselves, for that person that was doubting themselves, and here they go accomplishing their goal. You know, they lost them 20 pounds. That just was good on them, boy. So, whatever it is, and they're doing it, or their name is in this on this book, and they're proud of their work. So I say just, maintain yourself daily, in your goals. Keep that good feeling about achieving it, surrounded by yourself, surrounded around yourself, be held accountable. Because if you tell someone that you want to do this, you should ask them to hold you accountable. So if you want to work out every day or 3 days a week, and you got a workout partner or someone that you can say, I'm going to work out, and they will say, yep, yes you are, you're going to go work this out, then you need that person in your life, okay? So I'm about done with talking about goals. I've been excited about doing this little, I guess I'm doing kind of two-part. I'm on the conference call and I'm doing live video. I hope that it was informative. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment or, you know, email me, at haveachaseday@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to help you. If you need a coach, also email me. I have great prices, great, encouragement. I have a whole curriculum that's designed just for the work their goals out. So, I'm here to help you guys. I do what I love. And it may not, matter to anyone else, but this is my passion. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I hope that this was very inspirational. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I hope that you join me on my next one. I will, of course, be putting out when I'll do the next one. I'm probably going to do another goals seminar, because I feel like that's very important. And I believe that the more people that can get this information, the better, it will be for them. So, and I'll continue to do my research and look at my own skill level and do all the things that I'm trying to impress upon you guys to do. I do. Okay. All right. So this is Coach Chase. I do that mind performance with my life coaching with my clients. And so if you want to know anything, anything more about information, I will send you, what we do and how we do it. We do it over the phone. We do video chat. If you're in my area, we can meet in person. It's so many ways and so many options. And I just want to be here to help you guys, okay? All right, so I'm going to sign off here. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me on this. I appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.